Here are three things that I've learned in business that I believe would have been the difference maker had I known these things when I first started. And number three is the game changer. So I'm hoping that it helps you the same way it's helped me. Here we go. The first thing that I had to learn was belief. I had to find belief in the thing that I was doing. I had to find belief that one day this thing that I'm creating, this thing that I'm talking about, this business that I envision in my head could one day change my life and change the lives of others. And so finding that belief was one of the most difficult things. I once heard Donald Miller in his book, Building a Story Brand. He says 95% of entrepreneurs who think they're overselling are oftentimes underselling. And what they're really saying to their customer is, I love what I do, and I really want you to buy this, but I really don't believe in what I'm offering you. And so it's finding that belief and that confidence that what you have is actually something that can help improve their lives in a positive way and solve problems in their world. So it starts with you finding that belief of that thing that you want to offer us, the thing you want to offer to the public. Find the belief that this is it and it works. The second thing that I've learned that I wish I'd known when I started, actually, you know what? I take that back. Had I known this when I started, I probably would have quit. I probably wouldn't even be doing this. The second thing is, it's hard. It's very hard starting a business. It's extremely difficult to believe in what you're doing when your friends and family think you're crazy, or they tell you that you should give up and get a real job, or they come in and they say, are you still doing that little business? I think we've all heard that at some point or another, and the jokes and the clowning and all the stuff that people say to us. And it's very difficult to stay motivated and inspired in those times when you're being discouraged by those who love you. And the thing that I've learned is that it's not that they don't believe in you. They, one, can't see themselves doing it. And then two, the vision has not been brought to life yet. So God didn't give them the vision. The vision was given to you. And if they were meant to see it, they would have received the vision as well. But since they didn't, it's on you to make that vision come to life. And that is when they will now see that this thing is real. I think of the parent, the single mother, the single father that is sitting at the kitchen table or at the dining room table right now. It's late at night. They're looking over the numbers and their rent and their expenses at home. And their mortgage and their rent is overdue. Their bank account is overdrawn by $100. They just lost their job. Their car just broke down. The kids are in trouble in school. Their spouse just left. And they're saying, I don't know what I'm going to do or how I'm going to make it. They cry out to God. They ask through prayer, God help me. And God doesn't respond. It's in those moments that entrepreneurs are born. It's in those moments that entrepreneurs and business owners are created. It's in the fire, the pressure cooker of life that's building something special in you. And that's why this is hard. Because the person that you currently are is not the person you can be to take this thing to the next level. You have to die in that existence to become the new version of you that's going to take this vision to where you want it to go. So not only do you have to have belief, but you got to understand that it's hard building a business, and life is going to test you and it's going to challenge you in ways that you can't even imagine. And it's going to ask for greater things of you. It's going to ask you, what are you willing to sacrifice? And you got to be prepared to commit to that process to get there. And now that brings me to the third, the most powerful one out of these three. And that's, you must have faith. You see, I remember on my journey when I was getting started, I had just wrote my first book, From Success to Significance, The 8 Keys to Achieving Any Goal or Dream. And I was so excited. I just got released in Barnes & Noble. I was working with an amazing publisher out of New York called Morgan James Publishing. And we were having success and things were happening. And I made the decision that I wanted to launch my first speaking tour. I was ready to go, 20 stops, and we're going to go and empower people and inspire and motivate people around the country to help them start their businesses, improve their lives. And one morning I got up and I remember my daughter, she was 4 months old at the time. And my wife had to be at work that morning. And I asked her if she could stay home for about an hour or so until I run to this meeting and then come back. She says, I really got to get to work. I can't be there. I said, no problem. I'll take Layla with me. I'll drop her off at my cousin's house. She'll watch her until I come back. And then I'll pick her up and we'll be good. 5 minutes later, my wife Chantrell comes back and she says, you know what? I actually called in. They said it's okay. I'm going to run a little bit late. I'll stay home with Layla until you come back, and I'll go in, an hour and a half or so later once you get back. I said, no problem. So I remember I got up that morning and I got in my car. I'm driving to the meeting. I don't have a care in the world. I got just running through my notes in my head. I got Jay-Z bumping in the background. I'm in a good space right now. Like, everything is in order. I'm excited about where my life is at, where my business is at, and where we're headed and going at this point. And about 10 minutes into my drive, I'm just cruising, not thinking about much. I'm just going. And out of nowhere, this car, all I see is a flash of burgundy, comes out of nowhere and hits me. I remember going left. I hit the middle median in the road, and there's this big mound of snow in front of me. And in my head, in that instant, I thought to myself, I know there's traffic coming the other way on the other side of this. And I know that going through that snow is death's door. And I remember I went airborne, and I flew right through the mound of snow. And I landed on the other side of the road, facing in traffic the wrong way, just missing the car coming by. I looked up and I see cars coming directly at me through the smoke coming from the hood of the car. And I don't know if I've ever felt pain like this in my entire life. I was in more pain than I've ever experienced. And I really thought it was over. I remember looking through, seeing the cars coming directly at me. And I closed my eyes and I said, God, please don't let me die. My family needs me. I took a deep breath and I waited. I waited for it to be over. A few seconds went by. Nothing happened. I opened my eyes and the cars that I saw coming began to slow down at the hood of the car. This guy jumps out of a blue Suburban. I will never forget. He opened my car door and he said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I think so." He helped me get out of the car. I stood there. I have never felt pain like I felt in that moment. And my legs went out and I collapsed right there in the street. He pulled me over to the side of the road, to the sidewalk, and that's where I lay until the ambulance showed up. The ambulance got there. The guys got me in the vehicle. They got the sirens going. They're rushing me to the hospital. And I tell the MT, please don't let me die. And he says, "I think you're going to be okay. Do you have any kids?" I said, "Yes, I have a daughter." And he says, "Thank God she wasn't with you today." You see, doctors told me, had Layla been in the car with me and knowing that this guy hit on the same side her car seat sat on, she wouldn't have survived. After getting to the hospital, they told me, you were in an accident, here's your injuries, but over the next day or two, you're going to really feel like you were in an accident. You see, I had a neck injury, a rotator cuff injury, a herniated disc in my back, and a dislocated left hip. I went to therapy for the next 2 years to recover from these injuries. And 3 to 4 days a week, I'm in therapy. My wife is working 50 hours a week trying to keep us afloat and trying to figure this thing out, and I can't work. I sit at home every day, I stare at the wall, and I pray and hope that my healing begins. And what I learned in the midst of this difficult time, what I learned was, this is when you must have faith. You see, because what I realized was that faith was all I had left. I once heard T.D. Jakes once say, if you have a problem that man or money can fix, you don't have a problem. And you see, I was in a situation where neither man nor money could help me. My success couldn't help me. All the money I made couldn't help me. My friends and family couldn't help me. All I had left was my faith to carry me and God to say that one day this will be over. And for the next 2 years, I went through therapy and I started to improve. And I realized that one day I'm going to step on stage again. One day I'm going to get in front of another audience. One day I'm going to be able to help people the way I did before all this happened. And that day came, and I remember I got to share this story in front of a group of people, from all around the country. I keynoted an event for entrepreneurs, and being able to do that again was the ultimate blessing, because I'm living my dream. I'm living out this gift that God has given me. And so I shared that story with you to say to you, you must have faith. You must have faith. You're going to say, this is what I want, and life is going to say, how bad do you want it? And you're going to be tested. And what I've learned is that entrepreneur is like boxing. It's like going into a fight. When you go into a fight, you're going to get hit. And when you get hit, you're going to be left with some scratches, some bruises, and some marks. And that's what it's going to take to win. And when you come out of there, you will heal, but you will also come out as the victor. You will have the victory, and you will become champ in the thing that you wanted. So those three principles I hold tight to every day, with you must have faith being the most powerful one for me. I'm not here to preach religion or be a pastor or anything like that, but I'm a firm believer that God has made all this happen for me, and God controls my future and sets the path for me as to where I'm going, and leads and directs me to the goals that I've set and that He's laid for me. And now I say to you, you must have faith that the thing that you want is going to happen for you. That thing that you're after is going to happen for you. Stay the course. Refuse to give up. Don't listen to the naysayers. Let them empower you and motivate and fuel the dream. And if you hold on tight and refuse to let go, that thing that you're after, you're going to find it.